Hey, so I wanted to come on here live and do another one of these behind the scenes look as we record our podcast. I realized that, you know what, not everybody listens to podcasts. And so why not share all the valuable information that I'm sharing over at the More Members Now podcast and come online and share it here. So wanted to do this little behind the scenes look. So you actually get to see me recording a podcast live here. So here's how it works. By the way, if you want to subscribe to the podcast, it's at More Members Now podcast. moremembersnowpodcast.com. You can go over there and you can subscribe. And plus I got some bonuses over there, all sorts of stuff. So if you listen to podcasts, go subscribe right now. And you'll be able to see me recording this, and you'll also be able to listen over there. So right now we're in the middle of a series of podcasts about the 7 membership multipliers. And on the last podcast, I introduced what those 7 membership multipliers are. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to break down each of those 7 multipliers 1 week at a time. And so today is all about the content multiplier. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to hear me introduce the podcast. Then I'm going to take a little bit of a break, like just a little small 2 to 3 second break. So then that way, John, who edits everything, can insert the music and all of that sort of stuff. And he's got a little introduction. And then we go into the actual podcast delivery. And then at the end of it, he's also got some what we call outro music, where it's kind of, concluding the podcast. So there'll be a little bit of a break there and a little bit of a break at the end. And then I'll come on and we'll conclude our live here. So let's do this. Let me make sure I've got all my notes and everything that I want to share on. And by the way, we keep a little content matrix as I talk about the content multiplier here. We do have a content catalog with categories and a calendar also for our podcast. It'll make sense in a moment here. So let's get started. Hey, welcome to this episode of the More Members Now podcast. Today's episode is all about the content multiplier. Now, if you have listened to last week's episode, you know that I introduced the 7 membership multipliers that exist in every membership business. And over the coming weeks, I'm going to break down all 7. So today is all about the content multiplier. And you might be asking yourself, what is the content multiplier? Well, I'm going to break it down for you, and I'm going to tell you how to leverage this so that you can get more members in your membership. So as we talk about the content multiplier today, let me just define what the content multiplier is for you. And really the content multiplier is based around 3 key words. Now, some of you know I used to be a pastor, and one of the things that pastors like to do is we like to alliterate. So in using my alliteration, one of the things in using my alliteration, what we'll do is we'll take the content multiplier and we break it down into the 3 C's of content. The first C is the content catalog. Then the second C is the content categories. And then you have your content calendar. So if you're taking notes, it's content catalog, content categories, content calendar. Your content catalog is everything that you produce or could produce for your membership. So as I do this with private clients and in my membership levels and with our mastermind members, when I break down the content catalog, like literally we write down every single thing that they're able to provide their members. Now I recognize, we've got all different types of membership. Some of you actually have a brick and mortar type membership. I mean, like people go to your business and participate in membership that way. Some of you, many of you, have an online membership that you provide with membership platform, membership site, and all of that. Others, you might be a little bit of a hybrid, but your content catalog literally is everything you could or do or would like to provide your members. And I don't even stop there, because there's actually content or services that we could actually provide our members that belongs to other people. So as I introduce people to my audience and people in my sphere of influence and people that I am in masterminds with, sometimes what I will do is I will introduce other people's content with their permission, or even just by having them come on the masterclass or what, and give that content to my audience. So it's not just everything that I provide, but it's also everything that I could provide my members, my membership. So I write all of that down. And I literally keep a catalog. And then as I go into producing more content, creating more masterclasses, doing podcasts like this, or doing live streams, then I will add that to my content catalog. And then after I have that catalog, I get to categorize it. So your content catalog then gets broken down into content categories. Now, here's where the fun part begins. You get to categorize it the way you want to categorize it. You might think, well, I really don't know where to start with my categories. Well, so a lot of my content, for example, is based around the 7 membership multipliers, because I help people grow their memberships. I help them multiply their membership. And one of the ways that I do that is I help them leverage each of these multipliers in their membership. So I put content underneath each one of these multipliers. Let me give you another example. You might have heard me use this example before if you've been with me for a while, but it's like going to a restaurant. You go to a restaurant and everything on the menu is categorized. Your drinks are usually on the left-hand side is your appetizers, and then like you scroll down from there, then it's your soups and salads. Then you have your entrees. And, if they are open for lunch and maybe they have a lunch menu and a dinner menu. And so maybe that's there as well. And then you've got on the back, you've got your desserts. And then after desserts is your drinks, right? The drink selection. Those are categorized. So appetizers, have all the appetizers. Soups and salads, have all the soups and salads. Your main dishes, have all the main dishes. Sometimes, by the way, they add in, you've got a selection for sides. So you have that there. Everything is categorized. Imagine if you went into a restaurant for a moment and everything wasn't categorized. You open up the menu and it's like reading a book. Like you're looking at it and you're like, this doesn't make sense because like I don't know where I don't know where the appetizers are. I don't know where the main course is. I don't know where where do I find the drinks? Where are the sides? So like categorizing your membership content creates clarity for you. And when you have clarity for you, you have clarity for your members. If something's not clear with you, if you can't clearly communicate it, then you can bet for sure your members do not have clarity. So as you think about your content and you've got everything cataloged, start looking for some similarities. Does this look like an appetizer? Does this look like a main course? Does this look like dessert? Just start categorizing it and come up with your own categories. Then we've covered the content catalog, the content categories. Third is the calendar. I love the calendar. I love the calendar. The reason why I love the calendar is because it tells me what I'm going to do. I take some time every year and I go into a calendar planning mode where I take our catalog and our categories and I look at what happened over the previous year and what our members got the most out of, what really impacted them, what really propelled them forward and helped them multiply their membership. And then I start looking at the year ahead and saying, what can we do to continue to help them maintain that momentum? And we put it on the calendar. The calendar tells me exactly what I'm going to do. Like this podcast, I know for months in advance what I'm going to be doing on my podcast. For my masterclasses that I provide over at the Membership Accelerators Club or Membership Multipliers, I know exactly months in advance, literally a year in advance, what I'm going to provide for those masterclasses. I know what webinars and live casts I'm going to be doing. Why? Because it's on my calendar and they're all cataloged. So when I look at my calendar, what happens is I'm able to see all of my content that I'm providing. I'm able to, make a commitment to it. And then, yes, if something pops up, if all of a sudden my members start telling me, hey, we'd really like to learn more about this or hear you talk about this, I can interject that into the calendar, no problem. Like I still maintain control of the calendar. Even though my calendar tells me what to do, I come back and tell my calendar what I'm going to do, okay? So that's how the calendar works. You put it on your calendar, and then guess what happens? You never, ever have to guess again at what you're going to do. You never have to guess at what you're going to provide your members. As I talk with some membership businesses, they look at it and say, I'm just not sure what I'm going to provide month after month. And that's because you're not leveraging this content multiplier. So stop the guesswork. Take the guesswork out of it and start cataloging all of your content, all of your services that you provide your members, then categorize it and then put it on the calendar. Listen, you might not get a full year in advance planned out. So just go for 3 months in advance. Just do it quarter by quarter and take the stress off of you of having to provide your members so you can actually focus in on getting more members. When you've leveraged this content multiplier, that's why it's a multiplier. It frees you up so that you can focus your energy on getting more members so that you can serve more people. Hey, listen, I want to thank you for being a part of the More Members Now podcast. If you haven't already joined our fun Facebook group that we've got, go to membershipmultipliers.com/group. membershipmultipliers.com/group. That's going to redirect you to our private Facebook group. You'll be asked a couple of questions in order to get in. It is a private group. You have to request to get in. But if you go over there, we will let you in if you're, remotely interested in starting a membership, or maybe you already have a thriving membership. We want to help you multiply your members. So go to membershipmultipliers.com/group and request access. And if you're already in the group, great. Continue to, like and share and ask your questions and get feedback on everything that you're doing with your members, because we want to help you get more members so you can serve more people. Thanks for listening in. I'll see you over on our Facebook group. All right, so that was our podcast. You get a little bit behind the scenes. Sometimes I get a little tongue-tied. Not a big deal. I just roll with it and continue to push forward, because I know that these multipliers are going to help people like you. So I hope you're getting a lot out of it. I hope you took notes on the catalog, the categories, the calendar. Go ahead, start just planning out 1 quarter at a time. Just put it in 3 months and look at what you can provide your members so that you can have clarity. When you have clarity, your members will have clarity too. Hey, listen, thanks for listening in. Thanks for getting in on this behind the scenes podcast recording. I look forward to doing more of these for you, and we'll see you there.